Good evening and welcome to the meeting of the Ware Board of Selectmen for April 26, 2021 via Zoom. Going to do a roll call of board members. Chairman Hippler present. Selectman Van.
Here.
Selectman Osborne.
Yeah.
Selectman Burdick. She must be getting ahead. Yeah. Sherry, you're muted.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, perfect. And I know that Vice Chairman Meany is on his way home. He'll probably be late to the party. So we'll start with public comment. Any public comment?
It appears that we got a lot of blue bags of litter picked up along some of the town roads.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it looks like, and there was comments on a couple of Facebook pages regarding how that was picked up by the town. Town and the state. I know the state picks up the state road. So,
Yeah.
But again, big thank you to everybody that contributed to that. Appreciate it.
Yeah, in fact, there's still, I mentioned to Maureen if if people come in and they want a couple of blue bags and do it next week or the week after, as long as they take it to the transfer station, we don't, it's not a problem.
Okay, awesome. Actually, one guy gave a video of what he picked up off the side of
I did.
Perkins Pond Road. That was
I saw that. Yeah.
comical. So comical and sad at the same time, but
Yeah. Yeah.
all right. Any public comment?
I have a question.
Yep.
If I am interested in a topic that's going to be talked about later on, do I make the comments now or do I wait?
No, actually, we slated you, Denise, for the tennis courts.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank you.
Tom, you got anything?
No, I'm not sure if anything's on the agenda that I wanted to talk about, but
Okay.
I'll wait and
Did you get a copy of it or?
see. No.
Okay. We're going to be talking about, we're going to award the paving bids, discuss the tennis courts minutes, administrative report, and correspondence.
Okay. I had a comment as a historical society officer. I don't know if it's appropriate now or to bring up or.
Yeah. Is it regarding the Gordon Brown barns?
Yeah, I just had a question for the selectmen about that.
Okay, I think we'll probably talk about that in correspondence. So
Okay.
We'll let you speak then.
All right, thank you.
Yep. All right. So I think, Frank, you all set?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you.
Rick.
All right. Is Benji on? I didn't see Benji or,
Hey, Rick.
Yes, he is. He's on as a number.
oh, he's on as a number. All right, perfect.
Hey, Ricky, can we just kind of go out of order and I have Tom wait all the way to the end of the correspondence? If this is quick, we're just going to address that now.
I don't know if it's going to be quick or not. But I guess we can, I have no problem going down there. It's fine.
I just see it going, this could be a lengthy meeting, and if Tom has something quick, I'd like to just get him free and out of here tonight.
All right, Tom, why don't you head off the discussion?
Oh, okay. Well, I appreciate that, John. I'm in no hurry, but I'll bring it up real quick. No, it's just there was some damage to the Brown Barn roof through the windstorm this past week, and I was curious if I heard that the town lawyer weighed in on the lease with the Historical Society. Just curious if the selectmen were considering an insurance claim on that due to a active nature. Had it been discussed, or is that coming up for discussion at some point? Just curious.
I don't think we had talked about it as far as an insurance claim aspect of it. But I mean, I guess it can be discussed. It never crossed my mind that was even an option.
Yeah, I was just thinking about, because it was a windstorm and damage and things like that, usually you can file a claim for that for repairs anyways. So, I'm speaking as the vice president of the Historical Society right now too, just to be clear.
Okay. I guess my own personal thought is a phone call wouldn't hurt, but and see where that ends up. But as far as an answer, I don't have one, but we can definitely pose the question.
Sure, I hear it. Yeah, well, thanks. I appreciate that.
Yep.
If there's anything I can do, let me know, please. Be happy.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that, Tom. Any other board members want to weigh in on that statement?
I'm not opposed to checking that out, but looking through the lease agreement, it does state under section 9, the society will be responsible for maintaining the premises in good repair and shall be responsible for repairing or paying for the repair of all damages, normal wear and tear excluded. Where shall not be responsible for any properties of the society within the building or buildings. Are there deductibles involved with going with insurance?
Yes, there would be.
Okay. Would filing a claim against our insurance for this increase our insurance rates or our premiums?
That'd probably be a question for Naomi and Primex, I would assume.
I'm not sure if there is because we have an umbrella of all sorts of things, so I could ask that question. We do have
Okay.
$1,000 deductible.
I'm sure the Historical Society would pay that.
Yeah,
All right, well, we
that's a
we
good
can
bet.
definitely pose the question to Primex and see if there's options. But like I said, I mean, at this point, I don't know either way, so.
Yep.
But, any other board members want to weigh in? Okay. All right, like I said, so that's where we'll leave it. We'll inquire and we'll let you guys know at the Historical Society. So, okay.
Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. We'll move on to awarding the paving bids. Recognize DPW Director Knapp.
Yes, how we doing tonight?
Now, we're all here.
Wonderful. So I sent out my road work bids for the year. I had paving, reclaim with asphalt injection, asphalt rubber chip seal, and traditional chip seal. Did you all get my email, by the way? Because I had
When did
Joe
you-
email. Yeah,
When did you send that, Benji? Because I didn't get it. I've been back for over a week now. I went back to last Wednesday. I don't see it.
Came
Anybody else?
423 from Joe.
did you get it, Rick?
I did.
You got, I'll look again, but I didn't see it.
Yeah, I got it also.
It went to
Okay.
board from Joe Sarno.
Yep. Yeah, I was hoping so.
Okay.
Okay. So, just to recap, we sent all the bids out to, I believe 7. And the way we wrote the bid up, 2 of them missed the list because they didn't provide a bid, but R&D, GMI, Brock's, Advanced, All States, Continental, and Pike Industries all received our bids. We got confirmation that they received our bids. So Pike and Continental, neither one put a bid in at all. And All States put in for the chip seal, but not the paving. So if it's all right with you, we'll start right from the top of my list. For the paving, it was put out price per ton, put down, and R&D, everybody bid it. It was 2 separate prices per ton. So I had top, which is your top coat for your shimming or for your second year. If you did the base last year, it's for your finish coat. And then your base coat is when you do complete road reconstruction. That's what you put down your first year. And they always bid at 2 different prices because I guess the asphalt's a little cheaper and it's easier to put down for the base. But so R&D for the top coat came in with a price of $64.95 per ton and $61.95 per ton for the base. The next closest was GMI with $69 a ton for top and $65.50 for base, and it went up from there. So I would like to award the bid R&D. I was very surprised because that's actually less than last year. So
I'll move that we,
still go up, and we'd have to pay that difference, but that would be with any paving company. So
right. I'll move that we award the paving bid to R&D paving for the rate of $64.95 a ton for top coat, $61.95 for base, and $130 a ton for handwork.
Second.
Moved and seconded, roll call vote, Chairman Hippler, yes, Vice Chairman Meany,
Yes.
Selectman Van,
Abstain.
Selectman Osborne,
Yes.
Selectman Burdick.
Yes,
Okay.
Do we make a separate motion, Rick, for
Reclaim and everything else, I
all
believe we do.
states, all states with the reclaim and the chip seal, even though they were the only bidder?
Yeah, I just want to give Benji the opportunity if you want to speak to it, that's all.
Yeah, I got four others, so we'll go down bid by bid.
Okay.
So your traditional reclaim, and that's what we just grind the road so that we have time to do our prep work, for total road reconstruction. And so under the headline reclaiming, I'd like to also go with R&D. We bid that by the square yard, and they came in at 55 cents per square yard. The next cheapest was Advanced at 74 cents per square yard. And that's for your just regular reclaiming.
All right, I'll move that we use R&D paving for the reclaim work at a rate of 55 cents a square yard.
Second.
second,
All right, moved and seconded, roll call vote, Chairman Hippler, yes, Vice Chairman Meany,
Yes.
Selectman Van,
Abstain.
Selectman Osborne,
Yes.
Selectman Burdick.
yes,
Okay, go ahead, Benji.
The next is reclaim with asphalt injection. This is something I've wanted to try for quite some time. And I actually had a core sample of the Hill and River Road done 2 years ago. So this is a product that Allstate offers. And they will do a core sample, give a lab analysis, and let you know if the materials are suitable. And then they'll warranty their work if they are suitable. So, and they said that they were. What it is they reclaim the asphalt, and then they go back and they reclaim it again, and they pump liquid asphalt oil into the reclaimer the second time around, and it makes a puck about 4 to 6 inches thick. Pretty much like base asphalt, not quite, but that's pretty much what it is. So it gives a really good base. And that hill on River Road, that steep hill that everyone complains about, the gravels are just moving, over. It's been there a long time, and all the traffic now. I just thought it would be a good fit for that steepest part of that hill. It's about 4,600 lineal feet I plan on doing, so just under a mile. And hopefully that stabilizes that hill, and then we'll pave on top of that. So reclaim with asphalt injection for River Road. The only one that bid was at Allstate. I did put it out to everyone else, and that came in at $6.25 a square yard.
So Benji, they actually use what they grind up right there on site?
Yeah, so it's the same as all the other, they reclaim the same as they do any other time, Ricky. Then they back up and they reclaim it again, and they pump liquid asphalt into the material the second time. So the first time it just grinds it up and makes a nice material, and the second time they mix it like an egg beater, I guess.
And then they lay it back down?
They lay it back down. So this particular bid is all inclusive because it is warranted. I did not want to have any, I feel like probably run greater as any of them guys, good as any of them guys. However, everything needs to be on point. The timing needs to be on point. So this bid is all inclusive, the fine grade and the roll and the flag control, everything. This is all this company. So
That's a pretty good rate then.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of expensive, but I think it'll give us a really good product. I talked to the road agent in Milford, and he has a road that has heavy truck traffic, and he did just this. He hasn't even paved over it, and it's held up. So
What's the warranty look like in a nutshell?
I guess I don't have that answer for you. I don't know if it's like a warranty on a car, but the next year, if it were to unravel, they would come back and try to fix it, I guess. Kind of
Okay.
like the chip code. If I'm unhappy with it, all I got to do is call them, and they'll come back and re-sweep it or put a little more out somewhere, you know. So,
Yep, okay. Yeah, I think it's worth a try. I mean, you reached out and, obviously done a little due diligence um, on finding somebody of like nature to try it with. So, I think that, you tried something new with the chip seal and honestly, I think that's really holding up very well over the past few years. So myself, I'm definitely willing to try this. So, I'll move that we use all states, for reclaim with asphalt injection on River Road section for a rate of $6.25 a square yard.
second,
Moved and seconded, roll call vote, Chairman Hippler, yes, Vice Chairman Meany,
yes,
Selectman Burdick,
Yes,
Selectman Osborne, and Selectman Van.
And
Did you abstain, John?
yes, I did.
All right, next one, Benji?
so this is asphalt rubber chip seal. And this is just the Cadillac of all chip seals. So we've done traditional, we've done fiberglass. This is the tier 3 version, I guess you'd say. The state's using it all over. It's where you got a road that's really defined, and as any chip seal, you don't do it to a garbage road, but it's pretty well rejuvenating a road without the layer of asphalt. And I am going to do this on Mountain Road and Mountain School Road. That's got now, this will be year 3. This might even be year 4. Year 3 from the top when we topped it, I believe. And we put a lot of work into Mountain Road and Mountain School. I felt the material was good enough underneath. We did not rebuild it. We just top coated it. So this will include crack sealing all the cracks and doing this method of chip coating. The nice thing about this is they sweep it up right behind the chip sealer, so we don't have the loose stone that everybody complains about for a couple days. So, and this is all inclusive. They bring their own flaggers, and this is crack sealing, everything. It's all inclusive. So,
Okay. I'll move that we use for the asphalt rubber chip seal, all states for the Mountain Road at a rate of $4.99 a square yard.
second,
Moved and seconded by Chairman Hippler, roll call vote, yes. Vice Chairman Meany,
yes,
Selectman Burdick,
yes,
Selectman Osborne, Selectman Van.
Abstain.
Okay. Next one, Benji?
the next one's traditional chip seals. I've been doing every year. I'm a believer in it. It's the most used pavement preservation method in the entire United States. It works. It's fairly inexpensive. Again, you do it to a road that's not in terrible disarray. The road I'm going to choose to do this year probably should have done 2 or 3 years ago. That's why you're going to see a price for a regular price per square yard. Then one quotation says double chip seal. There's a couple spots that's starting to pond water a little bit, and so we're going to do a double chip seal in those spots. And so that price that you see will just measure those areas out. That won't be for the entire road, just be those little spots that we do. And
And that's all the way from 149 to the dirt?
yes, so it's from Old Francistown from 149 to the dirt. And so the spots that are ponding, they'll just chip seal and then they'll back up and they'll chip seal those little spots again.
Okay.
Other than that, the rest will be the regular $2.55 a square yard. This also includes traffic control, crack sealing, clean up, the whole thing as usual. So.
Okay, so the traditional chip seal, that's what we did on Hodgson initially, correct?
Hodgson was a fiber mat chip seal, so that has fiberglass under it. But yeah, all the other roads that we did, Reservoir Drive, East Road, Flanders Memorial, Carding Mill, Quaker Street. But
That's
it'll
all.
it'll look just like Hodgson. Nobody knows the difference with Hodgson. I did a fiberglass mat on Hodgson to try it because again, that one probably should have been done a couple of years sooner than we did it, and it worked fine. But I wished I would have paid a little extra to do crack sealing on it.
Okay.
But it held up. We'd have been patching potholes the next year, and we are now nowhere near patching potholes, and I think we got 4 years on it, so I think it's held up great.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say at 4 or 5 years on, it, I think it's been pretty held up pretty good.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'll move that we use all states for the traditional chip seal on Old Francistown Road at a rate of $2.55 a square yard. And if it needs to be double chip sealed in parts, it'll be $4.95 a square yard.
Second,
Moved and seconded, do a roll call vote. Chairman Hippler, yes. Vice Chairman Meany,
yes.
Selectman Burdick,
Yes.
and
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Anything else for us, Benji, or is that pretty much what you had?
That's all I got, unless you got questions for me. I'm still actively looking for transfer station help, a truck driver. We will get into our road work now. We went and cut what trees we felt comfortable cutting without causing any damage at Chase Park and chipped them a couple of weeks ago. So anything else I think needs to be done by tree service probably.
Okay. How's mowing doing? Starting up and everything?
Yeah, no, we've been mowing, so that's good. Yeah, it's a blessing having that tractor, so. Especially
Absolutely.
since we're $13,000 a month now to rent.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got a
don't
little
blame me.
maintenance when you own something as anything, but it's, you send somebody out when you feel like sending somebody out, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome. And like you said, nice days, you don't have to worry about rain or weather or anything like that. Yeah.
We had a
you're gonna
rough mud season a little bit. Wasn't the worst one on record, but it wasn't very great. But we hauled processed stone everywhere, so that can now be mixed into the road bed and cover it with crush, and should make a good road bed for next year. Things are going along, no complaints, I guess.
Benji, I just had a question. Now we've come out of, well, hopefully we've come out of snow season. It seems to want to rear its head a couple of times in the last week or two. What's the status and ideas with the Mac? Did we get our frame rails for that?
Yeah, we finally got them last November. I opted not to put them in because we wouldn't have a truck for the winter, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
So we have them at the shop, and that is on our agenda very soon, I guess. We're trying to get our dirt equipment all up and running for the summer so they don't have to worry about it. We just did a 4,000-hour service on the grader and a 4,000-hour service on the loader, so that was big services. Just got my roller out of storage, so we got that going, and get the excavator going. Well, it is going, but make sure the water trucks and all that's going, get the plow gear all off. And I figured another month or so, and everybody's out doing dirt projects, if nothing's breaking down, I'll put the guys right on it in the shop. I'd like to get the shop empty and put it right out in a big portion of the shop so they can tear it apart and get on both sides of it, the forklift and whatever, you know, so.
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
We've
I
been
just
having.
didn't know what the agenda was for that. That's all.
Yeah, yep. No, we have them, so.
Okay. Yeah, I knew we were running into a time sensitive timeline last year, and I figured you'd probably opt to put the body back on at that point in time. But
Yeah, they were about 3 months late getting us the frame rails, and I said, we'll be without the truck, and we don't have spare trucks, so. We welded a plate on it, and I didn't feel that it was dangerous. So we put it to work, and it's been just fine.
okay.
The state of New Hampshire has a broken frame rail, so.
Yeah, you're telling me. They're all popped open. And then the Dodge, I know at that flatbed that's on it, it's kind of a temporary. So once everything kind of cools down, same kind of timeline.
Yeah, we'll send it back up to Barry. I haven't even called them. We've been using it, so I hate to be without it. When they got it, I haven't even called them, so.
Okay.
It's not a big deal, but it'd be nice to have a dump body on it, so.
Yep, absolutely.
When it comes in, they'll swap it, and we'll be on a merry way with everything, I guess. And I'm gonna get, now my road bids are done, when we go to work, I'll get on my trailer bids for my trash trailer.
Okay, perfect. Any other board member have any questions for Benji? All right, awesome job. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Okay, so we will move on from that unless Janine has anything for park other than what's on the discussion board.
I do have two quick questions. One I think will be for Naomi. How is the boat ramp application proceeding for repairs? I think we had a hang up with the last application.
We still have a hang up, but the water is up, so we can't play in the water. Benji took pictures on Friday and the area that needs to be fixed is now completely covered in water. So I don't know what you do from here on out. I don't think we can play in the water.
Can at least material just that's on hand be dragged back to just fill a little bit, something, even that pile of riprap, just something underneath, a little bit of something?
I think Naomi's right. I think once the water is up, I think because of erosion and everything, you can't put a bucket in it.
Yeah,
Okay.
they don't want you putting buckets in the water, especially because of the grease and oil and so forth.
So is it just up because of rain? I mean, they haven't even put the boards in yet. Don't they put the boards on the
Two boards have already been put in.
Oh, boy.
They put them in, the highway went by April. I don't remember the exact day. If Benji can tell you, they put up one board and then when they went by on Friday, they put up the second board. And I've been told that in a drought year, they do put them up early to try to capture whatever water they can. So they did get put up long before they said they were going to be put up on their website. But I know Benji is still on. He went by Friday and sent me pictures and the water's already covering the area we need to work in. So I don't think we can do anything this year, unfortunately. Probably posting a sign or two. But I don't believe unless we have some severe, I think they're just going to keep adding the boards on.
Last season, to my knowledge, it wasn't an issue until the water level really dropped. I think it's too far down for boats to typically be in that area. It's when the water level was really low and people were required to go back a lot further. So I'm not sure if we should.
Well, if the water recedes, this is how I feel, if the water recedes enough that we can get to it without touching the water, then I think we can do some slight maintenance, but it's a no-no to just start playing in the water and stirring it up.
Right, no, I'm just wondering if it's something where we think we need to close it because it's that much of a danger, or do we think it's gonna be deep enough that it's not a problem for boats to use?
Well, if it stays deep enough, and obviously we think that it's okay to use, Naomi, maybe we can have, I hate to do this because obviously we're at the point now where it's too late, we're reactive again. But maybe we can have Laura draft up a use at own risk type waiver.
So basically, when we check the boats in and give them a sticker.
When you're giving them the check over, you give them a form to sign that says, the town of Ware understands that the boat ramp is compromised, et cetera, yada, yada. And you're using, you're launching at your own risk.
Okay.
I don't know if that's even viable, Naomi. It's just something that maybe it would be the stopgap for, keeping it open, but, still covering the town.
Because this hole isn't brand new, and last year, like I said, it was used almost the whole entire season, and we didn't hear anything about it until the very September, October. It was October, right before we were getting ready to close, and two complaints total. I don't use the boat ramp. I don't even know anybody with a boat, so I can't tell you how it is. So, all right.
Naomi, is that something you can ask Laura if that's even
Sure.
viable?
Yeah, I can ask her.
All right.
With
I'm
viewing
thinking too, just get.
With viewing it myself there, and I'm not a boat owner either, but it's at the very end. We fixed that hole once, probably 15 years ago, and you can see it's the same spots right at the end of the old concrete, which is now the end of the pavement. And again, I would agree with you that probably be towards the end of the season when the water level's getting low, or someone with a giant boat trailer, maybe a big pontoon trailer or something, but
Right.
on the well, almost even with the last pier on the boat dock. So it's fair amount of water. Few times I've been in a boat and you'd float the boat that I've been in before you ever get to that point. So
Right.
have
Right.
some sort of sign that's, maybe stake it right there at that hole that says, there's a hole beyond here or whatever, but there's quite a bit of runway before you hit a big hole.
And that's what I thought too, was because I mean, I didn't even know it was a problem until the end of the season when it was really brought up to our attention.
I was gonna dump a truckload of round gravel tailings in there, clean ones, so that, they're not sharp or nothing on anybody's feet or boat prop, but it had a foot of water in it Friday. And
Just too late.
I guess they keep putting boards in. I didn't think they put them in yet, but 2 boards have been put in so far. So.
Yeah, usually it isn't until May 1st, but like Naomi said, they did mention sooner.
Right.
All right. Okay, so we'll kind of play it by ear. Maybe we'll have someone local maybe take a little test run with their boat and trailer and tell us how it is. And we'll see if Laura recommends a waiver or something like that. But we have a little bit of time before I have to make that decision, fortunately. We're shooting for Memorial Day weekend to open up. And then lastly, with Chase Park still, so I assume all the hirees interview went well. I didn't hear otherwise. So I'm wondering if that means we have the go-ahead to let everybody know there were no conflicts. No one was not hired, I guess, is my main question.
Oh, then everybody was okay at that point in time.
Okay, all right, good. I think that's everything I have until the tennis courts.
So Janine, you'll have to coordinate with Beth. Beth's got packages for all the kids.
Yep. Okay.
You'll have to coordinate with her on when you want all the paperwork and however you guys are gonna do that. But I do know she's already got a whole stack of packets.
Yeah, I told her ahead of time, she'd asked, and I'd said when you guys had put them on the calendar for last week for their interviews, that we were gonna tell them shortly after to pick up their paperwork. So super, I'll touch base with her again. All right, thank you.
Awesome. Okay, so that brings us to discussion of the condition of the tennis courts.
You want me to talk or did someone else want to talk?
Did all the board members make it over there and take a look at the situation, have at hand?
Yes.
Yes.
John Osborne?
I'll go over there.
Okay, all right, so at least we're on the same page now, we start talking about it, so, yeah, Janine, go ahead and take it away.
Okay, so I hadn't been over there since we'd taken the tennis nets down last year. And so I did make it over there this weekend. And Denise was actually there playing, so it was really good because I thought to myself, well, I'm not really an expert about tennis courts. But Denise, who uses it all the time, we talked quite a bit. And I mean, from my opinion, right where you first enter, and you guys are probably gonna have seen the same thing, where the tennis net poles are mounted, you can see it's really raised a lot. And I felt that if the tennis nets were in place, it really wouldn't be much of a problem. I didn't see unevenness anywhere else. Obviously, there were gaps, not anything I thought someone's shoe was going to go in if they're wearing proper footwear for using a tennis court. But I felt that if the tennis nets were up, that the only really dangerous spot was right underneath the actual tennis net. So if you were within 5 or 6 inches of the net, which could already be a hazard itself, then I didn't see a problem with it being used in its condition. But also too, I wanted to ask Naomi how far out we were as far as bid acceptance and work, if there'd been any forward movement with the repairs for a timeline.
Do you want me to answer, Ricky?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so I had sent the board a package and we put out an RFP and the specs, we put it in the paper. I reached out to the same ones, asking them to re-look at the, I'll call it refresh the bid, just because some of it was quite old and I don't know what prices are. So the only one that refreshed their bid was Vermont Recreational. Lineberry Brothers did not, and I didn't hear anything from Advantage Tennis out of St. Johnsbury. So what I did is where we did get one from Vermont Recreational, I did reach out to them asking for their timeline. And what she said is they couldn't get started until there was at least 3 days above 55 nights and days. But then she then got back to me and said that right now, if we were to call and give them the okay, their schedule is, they wouldn't put us in until mid-July. That's if the bid is awarded to them, and their bid was for, they didn't change their bid, that was $17,800, which if you guys will recall, the Emma Sawyer Trust is covering up to $18,000, so it's not anybody's budget money. So I guess the minute I can call them and get on the schedule, the earlier. I can't do anything better than mid-July, though. Even if I call
Which is a
somebody.
long time to wait if the board chose to close the courts until the repairs happened.
Naomi, is that, that Emma Sawyer Trust Fund, is that specific for the tennis courts?
No, so what they did is, I think Denise, and she's on tonight, she had gone back and forth with Linda
Mhm.
Fiala, and Linda and I had talked as well. And I had been doing their Zoom meeting for them, so it was kind of good that I kind of could help them out a little bit. Emma Sawyer was left, there's a trust fund that is for the good of
Okay.
Ware. So for instance, if you remember, I believe that's where the money's coming from for the granite post for the sign in the
Yes.
center. It's also going to put money, this $18,000 towards the tennis courts, and it's for all of Ware to use. That's kind of what they look at, and that was their kind of their benchmark as to a lot of people in Ware use the tennis courts, and it's not geared to any certain age bracket. So all of Ware can enjoy the tennis courts, whether you play tennis or the pickleball or whatever. So that's where, but it's not specifically for tennis courts.
Okay. What was the scope of work that they were gonna perform? Just crack seal, or were they gonna?
No, I sent it to you guys in an email. They were going to clean the surface, fill all the cracks with acrylic, crack repair, supply and install 558 linear feet of right-way crack repair system for structural cracks. Total area to receive 1 coat of acrylic resurfacer. Total area to receive 2 coats of plexipave material manufactured by California Products, Cambridge, Mass. Textured coat to contain the proper amount of sand to provide a tough wearing base. Top coat to contain proper amount of pigment to provide a long-lasting attractive surface, and supply and install 2 complete sets of textured tennis court lines. That was the scope that everybody got.
Okay.
I have a slight concern with that. It says hairline cracks. To me, hairline is not a ½ inch wide, but that may be just picking nits at this point. I just don't want that to come back and bite us.
Well, I think that they came and looked at it, didn't they? They didn't
Yes.
just give it on a prayer.
This is Denise. They did come and look at it, and I sent them probably 25 different photos from every angle.
Okay, so they've had boots on the ground then.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So John, to your concern, I don't disagree, but if they've looked at it, obviously they probably gave that consideration. I don't think it's probably gotten any worse. Sure as it hasn't gotten any better, but it probably hasn't gotten any worse in the last year or, year and a half.
No, that's fine. Like I said, it just the verbiage states hairline. I just want to make sure that that's not going to bite us. That's it.
Okay. All right. Well, you waited patiently, Denise, so why don't you,
Well, I would just like to add a couple comments. I was glad we had a chance to walk through on Saturday. The heaving around the post of the tennis courts have been there in the last 2 years that the pickleball club has been using it. That did not occur over the winter. That's been there. Myself, I played this weekend, but a number of folks have been playing for a couple weeks. And again, there's no heaving, it's just the cracks. And we played for the last 2 years around the cracks. So really, and I think Ray Benito sent an email. He and his wife play tennis. and they've been playing around the cracks. So even if they can't get to repairing it until July, there's at least 2, if not 3 courts that are really good for play. We generally have 2 courts going. So I would like to see them not closed, because for those of us who are, a lot of the folks who are playing are retirees. We do have younger people, but this is a great facility for a lot of us who aren't in the school systems. And if it gets shut down, we're kind of out of luck for the summer.
Okay,
And we play 5 days a week, so
ambitious.
used a lot. The other thing, Naomi, if the bid gets awarded, could you just check with Vermont Tech? You mentioned tennis court lines, but are they also going to do the pickleball? It was my understanding they would also do the pickleball court lines, because we should be able to get 4 courts of lines in there.
Denise, I can check with them, but it wasn't in their scope. It wasn't in our scope in theirs, but I can ask.
Can you just ask them, and if they say no, can we find out if there was, what the cost would be to do that? Because it's possible, if it's not too much more, I could put it out to the club. You know, we're just a bunch of people who play, but oftentimes people are willing to donate some money.
Mhm.
Because what I wouldn't want to do, we've been using court tape to tape the pickleball courts. That will wreck a new surface. We don't want to do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I could be happy to ask them that. I mean, once, they get started, and I don't know how to play pickleball, so, I mean, I'm sure they're familiar with it.
They are, and when we were going through this, I was helping Janine. I talked to Vermont Tech quite a few times. They do this all the time, so
Okay.
they know what they're doing.
Okay.
So,
I can
yeah.
surely give them a call. If we award them, I'm gonna call them anyway, so.
Yeah, and if they say, no, it's not included, it's gonna be X dollars, if we could just find out what that is. Because
Sure.
it's really hard to play pickleball without the lines,
Yep, I get it.
so. But I guess the only plea I have from the whole club is to let us keep playing until the bids are awarded and the work is scheduled. And we will continue to, as we have in the past, we keep the courts clean. My husband picks up the garbage. And Janine and I have talked about getting some signage. We have issues. A lot of people walk their dogs. There's dog poop everywhere. So we need to get some signage to keep people off it. There's a lot of alcohol bottles in the garbage. So clearly somebody's drinking up there. So it may be worth just mentioning to the police department when they're making their loop through the center, maybe they just loop up through that parking lot once in a while.
Okay. All right. Janine, any other comments, concerns?
Sorry, my daughter's coming home and my dogs are really excited. No, and Denise she really did cover everything. Like I said, I'm not a tennis expert at all, and I definitely was just looking at it and getting her opinion and seeing how, I was watching them play when I got there and everything and felt that it was fine. So just see what the board had to say about if we could keep the park open, keep the courts open.
All right. I mean, me as one member, I've got, we've got 2 people here that have, obviously one's witness, one's using, that feel it's probably okay to keep open until repairs are made. So I'm fine with keeping it open to those clubs. I know that it was brought, Jack and I have talked a little bit, the wires that are hanging out of the ground there by the entrance, I believe probably for the old lighting system, should probably be taken care of. I'm assuming that they're probably dead. You never assume a wire is dead, but like I said, probably maybe contact Eversource and just make sure that A, that's all dead. B, we can dig down and cut it off and bury it or box it up or whatever they recommend we do. That's probably a concern. And I know that I believe John Van, Jack and I have talked a little bit, that the concern of the stairs going up to it from the parking lot are non-existent trip hazards. So kind of something that I guess me as a board member, I want to say kind of forgot it's there, but I don't use it. So, and it's behind the Legion, so I really don't see it up there. But, you know, obviously now it's been brought into light, so we should probably, you know, attend to these little issues with it. Whether it's just taking the stairs out and just leaving a nice dirt ramp to get up there, you know, with the grade or what have you. But obviously it does need a little bit of attention up there. So any other board
I know
members?
there was stairs there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the stairs are non-existent. It's just a dirt track, and I think the
Just-
part that's a trip hazard is that root that sticks out. That was my
Yeah, we
concern. It's
even
more of
went,
a
we
hazard
went
than
last year
anything
and
else.
we bought a mat to put in front of the gate so that dirt wouldn't get tracked in. And again, I think if it does get resurfaced, I would agree with you, something to keep the dirt from getting tracked in, and long-term maybe addressing some of the trees. I know last year they cut some of them down, but there are still some there that a lot of debris falls onto the courts.
Mhm.
And it may be worth in the long term, looking to see if the town could cut some more trees just to protect the investment once it's made.
Yeah, I'm sure that, I think Benji's still on the call. I'm sure that it wouldn't, you know, if there's a lull in the action, obviously we've got quite a project ahead of us with road reconstruction, but you know, if there's a lull in the action.
Yeah, we sweep it off. It's just, it would be great long-term, even if it was a year from now. And the club went up there last year and cut all the brush around the fence because it was, you know, climbing up through the fence, which will help keep the health of the fence there. So the club is willing to do some work. Cutting down a tree, probably not, but we do try to keep the brush down and keep it sweet.
Well, we appreciate that from the town level anyways. I do. So any other board members want to weigh in?
Yeah, Ricky,
Yep.
my only concern is where the town is now aware that there's a issue there with cracks and whatnot. By letting people use it, what's gonna be our liability if somebody does get hurt up there while using it?
I think the liability would probably be the same as it was before. It's a town property. And you know, people are using it. Whether we knew about it or not, I think the liability is exactly the same. And Naomi, correct me if you think I'm wrong. Okay, I'm getting a head shake.
I believe it would be the same. It's my understanding, and I haven't gone over there, but listening to those that have been there and walked around, and you guys walked around, doesn't appear that you've got a big change in surface or big enough holes that you're gonna be an ankle grabber, you know, break an ankle, twist an ankle, and it sounds like, you know, there's cracks. There's cracks on a sidewalk. There's cracks most anywhere where you walk. So I can't say that, but I believe that, you know, if it's not in that bad a shape, I don't see why letting them continue to use it. I think our liability would remain the same.
Okay.
Fire channel 1.
Yeah. So any other board members want to weigh in, or John, does that answer your question better yet?
Guess so.
I'll just add 2 cents. You know, for 2 years now, we've been working with the rec committee, to educate them on what the court looked like and to work to get funding so it wouldn't have to be a budget item. So these cracks are no different now than they were, maybe, you know, a little bit bigger, but no different than they were last year and the year before. So, you know, I think all the right steps have been taken to try to get the repairs started and get them usable again.
Jack or Sherry, anything?
I agree with Jack that wire needs to be taken care of, and you know, when they resurface that court, maybe they can tie that little walkway at the same time. If not, maybe we can get the handwork there when Ben has them in town to do some handwork, to go up there and put a little ramp in with tar.
I think to do that, there'd be a lot of prep work, because you have to dig out all the roots, take all the base out, put a new base in, and put, just like you would a road. So like I said, I think the biggest trip hazard up there is that root that's a part across that walkway coming up or down. Somebody's gonna twist an ankle more than anything else. And that, like I said, the wire was brought up, we discussed it, but wiring is sticking out of the ground. And I think, before you trying to get Eversource to go out there and look at it, you may be better off just to call the town electrician and check it, and go from there.
Okay. All right. John Van, anything?
No, not really a big fan of them using it, but majority rules. Obviously aware of it. They're taking steps to protect themselves. I'm just concerned about the others that may use it that maybe aren't as cognizant of the dangers of it, but majority of the board feels to leave it open, and I'll go with that.
All right. I don't think it needs a motion, but I'll take consensus.
I got one other thing, Rick, too.
Yep.
Before we
Go ahead.
The signage that's up there that have the rules of the court are just about obliterated. You can't really read them. So I think that also should be added, and maybe a sign that goes with it that, anybody that goes there uses it at their own risk.
We do have the fixing the signage on our next agenda.
Okay. I mean, and Jenny, there's probably enough money in that. If that was the estimate, that 17.8, it's probably, enough money in there to cover at least a decent sign.
I agree. I think that would be nice.
Okay. So I guess anybody else have anything else on it? Take consensus. I'm okay with leaving it open. As of right now, we'll talk about a bid here in a moment, but until the repairs are made, are we okay with leaving it open? Jack?
I feel it's okay to leave it open.
Okay.
I don't think
Sherry?
there's a hazard there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think if somebody's got regular tennis shoes on, flat sneaker on, whatever, that they're gonna have a problem.
Okay.
Didn't appear that way.
Okay. John Osborne?
Hey, Robert,
What's that?
I'm not in favor of them using it.
Okay. And John Van?
I'll go with the majority and say let them use it.
Okay. All right. So, all right. So we'll keep it open. And I'll entertain a motion to award the bid for the repairs.
I'll make a motion that we award the bid to Vermont. What was that name again? Vermont Recreation. Yeah, Vermont Recreational. The bid to rehab would be $17,800 to come from the Emma Sawyer Fund.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Roll call vote. Chairman Hippler, yes. Vice Chairman Meany.
Yes.
Selectman Osborne.
Yes,
Selectman Van.
Yes.
Selectman Burdick.
Yes,
And Naomi, if you could just inquire about the pickleball lines.
Yeah, I can do that when I do that.
Okay. At least that gets us on the schedule and working, towards
Exactly.
July. Yeah. So, and then, like Jack said, get a hold of the town electrician about that, the
Yeah,
wires,
that's on my list too.
best practice, and, absolutely. Janine?
All right, thank you. I'm gonna head out. I know John Van was gonna bring up the tennis courts, but I have to go get my son at baseball. So I'll try to chime in back in a couple minutes if there's any more questions. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you, Janine.
thank you, Janine.
Yep. Also under park, if I can, Ricky,
Yep.
the skate park.
Yes.
The park has been talking about off and on over the last, we'll call it half a year, about removing some of the damaged fence pieces of the chain link fence skate park. I went over this weekend because I volunteered to do that. some time ago. I just forgot about it a bunch of times. Went over to go do that, and I noticed a couple other sections, and then wondering who actually is responsible for the fence repairs and maintenance, if you will. And discussed briefly with Naomi this morning or this afternoon, the fence over there, and it seems like the fence is owned by the town. It's only 3 feet tall. All the other skate parks I've seen, granted, I haven't seen a lot of them, but the one in Hopkinton doesn't have any fences. The one or two in Concord don't have any fences. I think I've seen one in Goffstown that didn't have any fences. What if we just rip the fence out of there? Then we don't have to worry about it being a collect all for trash and leaves and all that stuff. And there's no maintenance that's required. Get the board's opinion on that. And if the board's opinion is to, in fact, take the fence down, is that something Benji can do with the equipment? Or is that something that we're going to have to hire out to do?
Yeah. I don't remember that going in. And I think maybe the fence was aesthetics, maybe. But I don't see the purpose that it serves other than maybe against the wood line. Keep some animals from dodging across, maybe, I don't know.
It's far enough away from the trees. Wood line isn't an issue.
Well, them furry woodland creatures there, they like to come out at high speed, so you never know. But again, we'll say on the driveway side and East Road side and parking lot side, I don't see the reason. Personally, I don't see why we have a fence around it. I think that the playground and the skate park are basically hand in hand. Town venues, I don't understand why there's a fence around the skate park, and maybe somebody can add in that remembers why there was one put around it other than
I think it's there, Rick. If you remember, we had that joint meeting with the school board, and we have a memorandum of understanding, and that is to delineate their playground and their area from that, and to keep the school kids out of there during their recess or other times. They wanted that there to delineate that, and that was part of it. And basically, it's our responsibility. So,
all right, I do remember the conversation with the school board, but I just remember that rolling back to who's in charge of the grounds when there's users on it. But I didn't remember anything about delineating the lines. But it does make sense.
Yep, they wanted it separated because kids going in and out of there and so forth. So,
okay. If that's the case, Sherry, go ahead.
Is there a fence up around the little baseball field there? Isn't there a baseball field right on the very end?
Yeah, there's a temporary fence up there right now.
Okay, yeah.
Well, if that's the case, and Jack is accurate with this, which I don't have any reason to disagree, I think we need to get quotes to repair it. That's just my own feeling on it. Other board members?
Yeah, I think you need to repair it.
Yeah, I agree. That was one of the sticky points that came down at that meeting a couple of times when we had those meetings on it.
Okay. John Osborne, anything?
I completely agree. I mean, if it's there, and I vaguely remember, I wasn't in any meetings, but I do vaguely remember there being a fence called in for that from the schools. So I believe it needs to be there and needs to be fixed.
Okay. John Van, I think it's safe to say we probably should solicit quotes for repair.
No, I agree. If it is serving an actual purpose and not just for aesthetics, and we definitely need to get that repaired ASAP, because I saw at least 3 sections, if you will, each section being between the posts that are damaged. So, do we have a preferred vendor for fencing?
No, we do not to my knowledge, but we do have a company right here in town that we could definitely reach out to.
Okay, Naomi, would you be able to reach out to 3 companies? I don't know how expensive this is going to be to repair, but get 3 bids on repairing that fence?
Yeah, I could do that. And I'll also look at the MOU because I know the MOU was written merely for the fact of, they didn't want the kids out there during school time. I guess I'll just look it up because I really think, as John said, it's really done nothing but hold the trash and the leaves in, and it really kind of looks hideous. It's about 3 feet tall, so any adults that wanted to use it can step over it. And the other thing is, the only thing I mentioned to John was the fact that there is a memorial sign for a young boy that was dedicated to. So if the sign, if the fence was to be removed, I would just ask that we do something and put the sign back up for the memorial.
Absolutely.
We can always revisit the MOU at the same time because I think there needs to be a little bit of oversight on watching the kids out at recess and things like that, I guess.
Right.
But let's look at that, and I can get 3 fence quotes.
All right. I remember, Naomi, most of the context of that meeting was, who's responsible for discipline in the hours and after hours. I think it rolled back to us.
Because that's why the older kids were stopping in during the day, and I get that. But
Right.
at the same time, they can climb over the fence at any time.
Yeah.
Or just walk through the gate?
Right.
It's wide
Let's
open.
look at let's look at, I'll reach out for 3 quotes, and then I'll also pull out the MOU and some minutes and maybe refresh all of our memories.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
You're
Yep. All right. Move on from that to minutes of 4/19. Here, go find them. Okay, and maybe I don't have them. Maybe I already filed them. Ta-da, there they are. Takes me a minute to load them up here on the hill. All right, anything on page 1? On 2? Three? 4? 5? 6? 7? 8? And 9. I'll move to approve the 4/19 minutes as written.
Second.
Okay.
Moved and seconded, roll call vote, Chairman Hippler, yes. Vice Chairman Meany,
Yes.
Selectman Osborne,
Yeah,
Selectman Van,
Yes.
Selectman Burdick.
Yes,
Okay, administrator's report?
Okay, you guys should have all got it. I know it was late. I sent it out about 5. Just gonna basically nothing has really changed in the last week. I still have work to do on the radio communications and touch base with Scott. Forestry contract, I haven't heard anything more, but I can push that along, touch into Jeremy. Jeremy was all they were waiting for to see. They wanted him to review it and then have a joint meeting with conservation so that we can get this done and executed and behind us. Zoom, the only one for right now for April is tonight. The rest of the week, there is no Zoom meetings. The building inspector, what I would like to discuss to you, we did receive 1 application from the gentleman that has experience in another community. He's worked in this capacity of the building inspector, code enforcement in other communities since 2014. He's retired and is only interested in working part-time, which is what he does in the other community. I know we talked about sending out and trying to get more applications. I also was visited by the one that's doing our interim work. And he's all done in Bradford and wanted to kind of get an idea of what our hopes were or our thoughts were is for a replacement, because I don't think he wants to continue on through the summer. So with that being said, I would ask, would you like to interview the one that we have with the experience? Or do you want to push forward and put it in Indeed and New Hampshire Works and some other places in hopes of maybe getting something, which is going to just put it off, because typically you got to put it in the ad and then you got to let it run a week or more. So if you were going to pursue down the path with the one experienced gentleman that we have, if you were to interview him this week, is what I was thinking, this person would still have to give notice at his community, which would be 2 weeks. I spoke to him today. And that would not get him to us till mid-May, third week in May, maybe. Therefore, the one that we have currently, Chip said he would work with him for a couple of weeks as well. So that leaves us, Chip staying on until Memorial Day. So I'm not sure what anyone's thought is before we spend the money in all the other places. Is this one applicant, I've had 2 phone calls with him. Is that someone you're interested in talking to this week? And I suppose if at the end of your conversation, you can always still revert back to the Indeed and all the other advertising we'd like to pursue.
I think that's a valid idea right there. Is meet with them and go from there.
How many part-time hours is he willing to work? Did he say at all?
I think right now he does 20 to 25 where he is, and he'd like to stay the same. Which is really what we had. We only have 25 hours budgeted anyway.
Yeah.
So I think that's appropriate then. Myself, I'd like to meet the individual for an interview. How's the rest of the board feel on that?
Would you guys be available? I know Jack, I mentioned to Jack has to work Thursday. He couldn't do it. It would be in person.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Any other ideas? Wednesday or?
I'm available Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Jack,
Right.
are you available any?
Yeah, Wednesday or Friday. Thursday is out, and Wednesday's a little iffy, but yeah, I could probably make it work. But Friday's definitely an easy day.
All right. How about Wednesday? Does that work, John Osborne?
Yeah, fine with me.
Sherry?
Yeah, it's fine, Wednesday.
All right. Let's try Wednesday, Naomi.
All right, so if I do Wednesday, you want a 6:30?
Yes, please.
All right.
Or later, 1 or 2.
Okay, and then while we're doing this, would you have a problem if I can make all the stars align and have maybe our police officer be sworn in with his family while we're going to be in person?
Oh, that would be killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
I can only say if I can.
Yeah, if you can, I can't. I don't have a problem with it. Board members.
No issue.
No,
Okay, all right, we'll
Sounds
see what I
good.
can do. Excuse me?
Sounds good.
Okay. We already talked about the tennis courts. Chase Park boat ramp, we already know about. Arbor Day, Janine and I were talking, remember this is when Eversource and Asplin wanted to come and plant trees. Parks and Rec did put one location at Chase Park and they put one location at Bolton Field. And they're gonna do it at 2 o'clock on Friday. The question is, I knew they were gonna be at Bolton Field at 2 o'clock. Janine wanted to know if they were doing Chase Park before or after. I guess I have to find that out and let you guys know. If there's gonna be more than 3 of you, I would post it, attending. I don't know what anybody's schedule is. It's at 2 o'clock.
I will not be able to attend.
No, my ball and chain will be at Bosquen.
Jack, you're available? Sherry, John,
Yeah, I'm available.
do you want
I'm
to
not
attend?
sure. Point.
All right, well, should I post it just in case? Three of you show up?
I'd probably should be able to get there, but I will be working part-time this week also.
All right, well, tell you what I'll do. I'll post it just to be on the safe side. I'd rather do it that way.
Probably be easier, best.
And Naomi, would you let me know for sure whether we're gonna do 2 o'clock at Bolton Field or if we're gonna go up to Chase Park first, so I know?
Okay, sure, I can I'll let you all know.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
tomorrow, Tuesday, is my usual day off. Let's go to the bottom. I do have a question. Walker Roofing reached out to me in a message, and they aren't going to get to us by the end of April, which is what I was promised. He asked if May 10th would be okay. I didn't reply because I didn't feel like that was my response. I don't know what you guys feel like doing, because you told me that if they didn't show up by the end of April, you wanted me to move on. So what would you like me to do in a response? The answer now is May 10th.
Board members?
My personal thing is that I'm trying to get a builder to come in here now just to put a small roof over, and I can't find anybody. And I've called all over, New Boston, the guys, Ware guys, so I don't know if you cancel if you're gonna find anybody. That's all.
I want to say that we've given him more than enough chances. And I'm not really inclined to do it again, but I will go for the 10th. And if he doesn't show up by the 10th, then forget it. He's done, you know.
I would agree with Jack. I'm about at wit's end with this company. But I do agree with Sherry that contractors are in demand right now. And it's busy season right now. So I think let it be known in the reply that if it's not May 10th, it's never.
Okay. Well, I didn't want to make that call because you guys had directed me in a different direction, so I wanted you guys to talk about it.
Selectman Osborne or Van, any comments?
Agree with both you and Jack. Give them till the 10th. If they don't show up, tough.
Yeah, don't show up at all.
I'm tired of them jerking us around. I'd like to continue moving forward with trying to get quotes.
All right. What do you want to seek quotes and given the May 10th timeline, or what do you guys want to do? I mean, I don't think, a week and a half is going to make much of a difference on a timeline at this point. I don't think if we don't get activity by May 10th, I think it's going to be fall before we get anybody in the door.
I think even now we're trying to put quotes out. It's going to be beyond May 10th by the time you get it out, posted, and try to give them a timeline to get them back, because we're at the end of the month now.
Right.
So I'd say if they don't show up, like I said, if they don't show up on the 10th, then we'll go ahead. The 11th, we're starting to put out bids.
Absolutely.
Put out requests.
All right, I can make that clear.
And no hesitation.
Yep. The sign, you all know, that's going to happen somewhere. I believe that's going to happen in June.
Okay.
I'll get you a definitive date. We're still, I think we're ready to move forward. After that, we'll have to talk about what we want it to look like as far as landscaping and what it's going to look like. The Reservoir Drive, I just got to coordinate. I did talk to Benji. I just have to coordinate with Chief Moore, and then they can provide a detail as well so that we can put the signs up. I want to get that done before May 29th.
Mm-hmm.
And we already talked about the East Street roof. I'll go ahead and contact the insurance company and see where we go from there.
Okay.
And then the last thing that is not on there that I just keep, how do you want to handle your May platforms? Zoom, we already advertised zoning board for Zoom. I had to do something.
My feeling is status quo. We stay Zoom.
Yeah, I agree until we look at it at the end of May.
Yeah. I know that the mask mandate has been lifted. But I think that we're still, until we can get some windows open efficiently and effectively, I think we stay in a Zoom platform.
I'd like to see some downward trends and have it stay heading down. Right now, I don't want to be flip-flopping all the time saying we're closed, no, we're open, no, we're closed again. Just keep it the way it is for now. Revisit again in May, and hopefully things will stay on a continued downward trend. But we're too many ups and downs right now.
We can hope that for the best. I mean, you're right. I mean, we've gone up, we've gone down, we've had snow, we've had no snow. Airing the place out would be a nice way to do it. Plus, like, getting your numbers down. I totally agree. I just wanted to bring it up for you. You did talk about revisiting at the end of April.
Yeah.
So that would be all I would have for you guys.
Okay. That brings us to correspondence, other business. We did receive a letter from a citizen regarding the tax collector process. More so than the position, but the process. And I think I think I'll stop there, but we did receive a letter from a resident.
I can explain.
Okay, go ahead.
So last year, we hired a tax collector in March. In February 6th of 2020 is when we made a change of that position. At that time, and I still am the interim one, looking quickly through the book that was left me, first item of business that I did with the new collector during COVID times was to put out the lien letters in April. So I followed protocol with which I did, and April came, we started putting out lien letters. Much to my finding later that there was I'll call it a reminder notice that got sent out about a week before the prior tax collector left, notifying people that, hey, you have a balance due, you need to pay the balance before the impending deed letters come along, because that incurs fees because the letters have to go certified. So with that being said, we did not do the reminder letters, so we went right to the impending deed letters, which has a fee, as the gentleman had, noted that there's a fee attached to it of $19.50. But there was a couple things you have to remember. First of all, the tax bills, if you remember, we did not get our tax rate till we were pushing and pushing every week. Typically, we send our tax bills out Halloween, due December 1st. We barely got them out the door Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving came due, the bills were due December 23rd. So what was happening is all the escrow accounts, all the towns, all the banks, all the, companies that do all the escrowing were funneling what they thought would be the second half tax bill versus waiting, even though the tax bills weren't due till December 23rd. So that was one problem. Second problem was everybody and their brother was refinancing because the rates were on a dive downward. So at that time too, in the refinance, either taxes got paid, didn't get paid, guessed how much was there, leaving a small balance. So therefore, there was a whole bunch of things that contributed to it. I guess I did, the 1950, if we want to refund them, everybody else has been in today. I waited on several people today paying them before the lien happens. So I don't know how you want to do it. If you want to refund his 1950 as he requests, it's entirely up to you. I'll have to fill out an abatement form for you. But there was a lot of moving parts, and I don't want to say that it was just our fault. I think there was a lot of things going on with, this is how I don't escrow my taxes. I never will, because a bill that size, I want to make sure it gets paid. I paid myself. But if I depended on somebody else to pay my bill, I certainly would be checking to make sure the bill gets paid. You know, so I do, yes, everybody's busy, COVID-19 times, we can blame a lot of things. But I'm willing to, you know, if that's gonna make or break a deal, I'm not gonna make him upset if we're gonna get back $19.50.
Naomi,
I think we ought to credit back to 1950.
Yeah, you'd have to just, we have to do an abatement, so.
I would agree. Sherry?
is he the only one that has had to pay that 1950?
No, others have paid it. He's the only one that's been, you know, boisterous about it.
But if we do it for one, are we gonna have to do it for all?
I think that'd be the right thing to do.
Right, if we, I mean, if we're doing it for one, we probably should do it for anybody that's paid it.
Yeah, if the mistake is on our side, then we shouldn't collect it, and two, if we did have accepted any funds for it, we need to refund those. And let the minutes reflect our apologies for our issue here.
Our error, yep.
So all 320 letters, you're gonna give back $19.50, even though most of them realized that they had a balance left.
If we never sent out a warning letter prior, then I think it's the right thing to do. It sucks. I get that from a labor standpoint, having to do all the abatements, all the signatures that we have to get, but it's not the townspeople's fault. It sounds like it was a failure on our part, completely unintentional.
Yeah.
Through the cracks, but I think it's the right thing to do for the taxpayers. It's not their fault.
All right, so everybody that we got a letter for, we'll go ahead and credit them back because a lot of them haven't paid yet anyway.
I think that's the right thing to do. I don't know about the rest of the board.
Well, I just want to, I gave you the honest as to what happened.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
It was,
and-
and being, you know, we were open, we were closed, there's just so many things that in everybody's private life is the same way. It's not an excuse. It just, you know as well as I do, the rates are going down. People can't fly through the door fast enough to refinance. You know, so, and it's just when they refinance, we don't have an amount. We've told them we didn't have an amount, so it is what it is. But no, we can do that. That's fine.
What's the rest of the board members feel? I would agree with Selectman Van that, you know, it's right, wrong, or indifferent. It was an error on the town's behalf. And I understand it was a transition. You know, and obviously it was one keeping to another.
Yeah.
But I believe that it was, you know, obviously an error on our side, and a lot of those people probably did not deserve that $20 fee.
No, and some of them do expect it because some of them go out to almost 3 years anyway, but that's fine.
Right.
I can take that and take it and go from there.
Okay.
And we can put a letter with it.
Jack, anything?
No, I agree.
Okay. John Osborne?
Absolutely agree.
Okay. All right.
Because that involves such a, I don't want to say a large amount, but a decent amount of money, do we need to make a motion on this?
Um,
I think we just have to deal with it when the abatements come in.
Okay.
all right. Personally, I don't think it needs a motion. Do you think, Naomi?
You could make a blanket motion and then I guess, because you're gonna have to sign all the abatements one at a time. So do you want to just make a blanket motion and we can take and credit it? I can give you a list, or how do you want to do that?
Yeah, that works. I think that works.
So if you make a motion to re-credit or refund or give them back the $19.50, then I can give you guys one letter including them all, and then you could do one abatement if you like.
I think that would work.
All right, so what we can do is we can come up with the abatement letter and put it in the sign folder, and we can go from there.
sounds good.
Then you won't need a motion. You won't need a motion
We're
because you
gonna
guys are gonna sign it. Yeah.
Okay, I'm good with that. Any other correspondence, other business by any other board member? I just have one more thing. I hear crickets. I think it's been tossed around a little bit at the last meeting, been tossed around a little bit in my pea brain as well. That we probably need to think about different communication method with the townspeople. And what I mean by that is probably start thinking about some kind of social media. Very limited in its capacity, whether it even be just making a page that, you know, that can be liked and then not even commented on, and then we can post links to the website maybe, especially for like Benji's truck driver position. You know, you look at the PD, they have like 6,500 likes. That's a lot of vision on their activities. Whether people react to it or not, it's still vision on their activities. Even if we were to get 1,500 likes, you know, that, and one person tells one person, that's 3,000, you know, exposure. I just think, like I said, and it can be very limited, again, more for information conveyance rather than debate or anything like that. But I think it's a good platform when used in the right way. And I think we've had that conversation with the PD as well, is when it's used in the right way. It's a good information conveyance method. But I think it's something that we probably ought to start thinking about, whether the IT department can help us set it up so that it works in our favor, as far as, again, setting up without comments, et cetera, how it can be a municipality page rather than a personal one. I'm not, you know, versed on all that, but maybe even the PD can help us. I just think that, you know, we kind of touched upon this last week, where it's very hard to access eyes now, you know, and get exposure with conventional methods. I think we need to start thinking outside the box, especially, you know, in such a competitive workforce right now. And, you know, people are at home. Sometimes the website is not the first reference, but everybody seems to have a social media, you know, contact. So just a thought that we start, you know, thinking about it, and like I said, just utilizing it, and maybe, like I said, PD can help us, you know, sharing our page to theirs and vice versa. But again, just so we can start conveying information back and forth. I know Selectman Pan and I have talked about it a little bit, and you know, again, it would be how to police it, who would admin it. I think there'd be, you know, it'd have to be some strict rules with it, but again, utilized correctly, I think it'd be a great tool for the town.
Yeah, on that, I would think that there'd probably be only two people that should have access to it, town administrator and her assistant. Any posts have comments automatically turned off. It's not for discussion, it's more for notification. Any questions derived from any post, email either Naomi or somebody else. But I don't want that to turn into a unmoderated forum where some people who have a less than stellar opinion of us or anybody else on that's a town employee, just as an open forum for that. That's not the intent of this. The intent is to distribute information just as a website. It's just in a media that can be shared. That's just my opinion on it.
Right, and that's kind of where I'm at, is just, you know, again, it's a platform to convey information, whether it just be hyperlinks posted with a little bit of a blurb of, you know, if you want to know what you're voting on, here's a town warrant, and put a link to the website. Again, comments off, very few people moderating it as far as on our side. But I think that that's a platform that can be accessed rather quickly, you know, that everybody's on and can get right to it. So, you know, information spread is huge, as long as it's accurate and truthful. I think that could be a huge benefit for us to convey that information when done properly, like John and I have been talking about. Anybody else? Comments, concerns, questions, ideas? Bueller? Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, all.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.